Is it really possible for a tiny tweak to your morning coffee routine to ignite your metabolism and put your body into full fat-burning mode for the rest of the day?
Check out the link in the video description now and transform your morning coffee into a metabolism-boosting super drink.
Hundreds of campaigners today took over a picture-postcard cove in Mallorca made famous around the world by influencer Instagrammers in the latest Spanish anti-mass tourism protest. Islanders kept their promise to reclaim stunning Calo de Moro from foreign holidaymakers by taking up every inch of space on the tiny 98-foot-wide stretch of sand with their beach towels shortly after 8 a.m. The number of protesters had swelled to more than 300 by around 10 a.m. local time, coinciding with the arrival of the first foreign day trippers. They turned back after being informed by the campaigners what was going on. Nearly half a dozen civil guard officers also showed up around the same time. The protest went ahead despite attempts by local mayoress Maria Pons to get organizers Mallorca Platja tour to think again. They asked the leaders of the protest to identify themselves, although they are not thought to be planning to sanction them in any way. One witness said, "The first tourists who turned up looked very surprised to find it packed with people at such an early hour. But they seemed to understand what was going on when it was explained to them and they turned round and left without any fuss." One of the islanders supporting the protest said, "If the aim of today's action was to reclaim the beach and denounce tourist massification, it's certainly been achieved. Today Cala de Moro is definitely Major Can." She claimed earlier this week the South Coast Cove, which locals turn their backs on many months of the year when it becomes a tourist must-see, had become an obsession and what it needed was a rest. Platform Mallorca Platja Tour said as its protest got underway, "For one day Calo de Moro will belong to the Major Cans." As well as laying down beach towels between the rocks on either side of the sand, campaigners unfurled a huge banner stretching across the cove which said, "Ocupam les nostres playas, let's occupy our beaches." Protesters, some of whom were already in their bikinis despite the fact the sun was just up, applauded as it was laid out on the front of the sand before chorusing in unison, "Destination Majorca, don't destroy it." Others held up smaller banners with the message, "SOS Residents" on them. Around 250 people had already joined the initiative by around 8:30 a.m., with many unable to crowd onto the sand at the bottom of the cliffs and having to stay on the path leading down to it instead. To protect the beach, those who managed to find a spot on the sand were asked to take off their shoes and leave them in boxes. Others stayed in a nearby car park and distributed leaflets in English and German informing tourists about the mobilization. The protest was the second organized by Platform Mallorca Platja Tour since a gathering on June 1 at Island South Coast Beach Sarapata. It was billed as the first show of strength for today's event before Calo de Moro was announced as the spot, although critics dubbed the Sarapata turnout poor at the time despite promises from supporters to squeeze out foreign tourists. The Reclaim event at Calo de Moro, due to go on until about 1 p.m. today, went ahead despite the mayoress for Santanyí, which it is part of, saying it needed to be given a break to recover. Maria Pons said earlier this week, "We understand the demonstration and we won't do anything to stop it, but Calo de Moro needs a rest. The only thing we want is that locals can live in peace every day of the year." Police have verified that when Calo de Moro is mentioned in the news, the influx of visitors increases. Neighbors living nearby suffer the pressure of thousands of people who pass through every day. Speaking at a full council meeting, she also hit out at the social media stars who have transformed the cove, saying, "We have seen how some visitors change their swimwear 3 or 4 times to take different selfies and claim on their online profiles they've been to Calo de Moro many times. If we carry on the way we are, there won't be a cove anymore because of the erosion that's been caused." As a tourist municipality, the town hall leaders are conscious its wealth comes from visitors. But what Calo de Moro needs is that people, including the media, forget about it for the season. The mayoress comments led to a pledge from Mallorca Platja Tour that the cove would be protected and suffer no lasting damage during